I want to welcome on a special guest, the coach of a top 25 team, Coach Pikiell of Rutgers. How we doing, my guy?
I like that ring, the top 25 team. I haven't heard that since I've been here. So
Yeah.
I'm doing great. I'm hoping, I got my fingers crossed, get this season started. It's been the most unique off season ever. But I'm excited. I'm excited about my team, and I'm thankful we've been able to stay safe and healthy.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. We want safe basketball starting Wednesday. Hopefully everything goes well. I just wanted to start us off with this. I saw something that you have no hobbies besides basketball. It's just basketball. I found out yesterday that I didn't watch any of the football games. I have no hobbies either. I don't know what to do with myself. So what have you done the past 9 months? Did you pick up baking or some shit?
I actually I did do some of that, like cooking, like on the grill. I've become like a little bit more astute to what my wife's usually doing, at home. But I've been reading a lot more. But I watched a lot of film too. So to be honest with you, I'm as basketballed up in the last 6 months as you can get. Our practices now, instead of running off to go recruiting for a day or two, I watch our practices on film. I spend a lot more time with my team, which has been really, really good, and especially when I'm usually running around the whole month of September and October. So done more basketball stuff, which has been great, and spent a little more time with my family. So thankful for that.
Coach, so of course it's been a long off season, but last season you guys were one of the feel-good stories in the country, on track to make the tournament for the first time since '91. So take us through March 11th, March 12th, when everything starts to spiral and you're one of the hot teams in the country. You get robbed of the opportunity to make the big dance. What's the message to your team in the devastating times?
Well, I mean, it was crazy because we were warming up actually to play Michigan, in the Big Ten tournament. So we were actually on the court. I'd already done my pregame talk, and I felt really good about our team, and our team was very excited about the Big Ten tournament. So right before the last time that we run out on the court, they called and canceled the tournament. So we brought our team back in off the court, but at that time I didn't know about the NCAA tournament getting canceled because we were one of the first tournaments kind of to cancel, and so I was just very hopeful. I said, listen, we've had a great season. We're going to get a chance to continue this with March Madness here coming up. And never did I ever think we wouldn't play March Madness. I knew the fans probably wouldn't be there, but I kind of thought we would play that tournament. So I told our guys, hey, we're not going to play in this one, but we got another one to get ready for. And then by the time we landed our airplane back in New Jersey, it was already on their phones. Like it was already out there that the NCAA tournament had been canceled. So it wasn't even like I was able to really talk to my guys. They were, my seniors were crying in the back of the bus. Like they found out on their phones. As you guys know, those phones are attached to their hands. So they found out, and then they actually told me that the NCAA tournament was canceled. So it was just kind of just a bizarre day. And, I feel really bad. We had 3 great seniors and, great kids, and, the hard work that they put in, and then that they weren't going to have a chance to play in the tournament. But those decisions were made out of safety of our student athletes. And, that's what needed to take precedent at the time, was their safety and concern, for playing sports at that time and bringing people into arenas, and the right decisions were made, but very disappointing.
So that's what stood out to me, is that it wasn't necessarily that you guys weren't good enough. It was that you don't get the opportunity. So is that the most difficult conversation you had with your team? How do you even go about saying that?
Yeah, I mean, like I told you, it was, surreal, really, in a lot of ways. They found out before me, all the rumors that were, as soon as our plane landed, all the phones came out and they were reading everything. So within like an 8-hour span, our tournament was canceled. We thought the NCAA was still on. That was my last talk to them after I told them the Big Ten tournament was canceled. I said, we got the NCAA. We're going to selection Sunday. It's going to be an exciting day here at Rutgers. And then by the time our plane landed, they had their phones on and the NCAA tournament was canceled. So it was really difficult. I just, hugged them after, like our season was over, in the blink of an eye when we were warming up already for the, Michigan game. So just disappointing when you work hard for 8-9 months, you get to the end where March Madness is the most exciting time in college sports and sports maybe, in general. And to not have that opportunity just was sad for our seniors too. They earn that and don't get a chance to do that. But those are the obstacles, and keeping people safe is more important than, a basketball game. And I think that decision helped keep a lot of people safe. So.
And when going off that, when you sign on to be the head coach of Rutgers, it's like, the RAC is the most electric place ever to go to a game. Like, I've been to a game there. It's like you can't even hear your own thoughts. It's an advantage for you guys. Obviously, this year you don't have that. How do you even talk to your team? Like, this is a totally different outlook on the season now, and it's just a weird – I don't know, everything's weird.
I mean, yeah, it's just, so different. I mean, everyone's going to go through it, so I don't know if anyone's going to have an advantage or disadvantage. But for us, certainly – the RAC is awesome. I mean, I say that all the time. Our students are so involved. Community gets involved. I mean, we just, it's loud there. The acoustics are maybe just different when they built it, a century ago. It's just a great place, and we've built a really, terrific home court advantage. But I'm thankful my team is a little older this year. I think they can handle that obstacle a little bit better because we got more veteran guys. But we're going to have to bring our own excitement. It's going to be very, very different. We've already practiced under the same circumstances with the crowd noise and doing some of that. Even that was weird. To coach with a mask on is very difficult. I mean, the guys don't really want to listen to you anyways on the court. And so now they got every excuse. Coach, you couldn't hear you, coach. And that usually means someone's going to jack up a shot as soon as they come over half court. Then look at me and say, I didn't hear you. So I got to get used to those situations that are going to happen in games. But, just very different year, and hopefully we could stay healthy and have a season.
Yeah. You talk about that home court advantage. We actually we don't know when fans are coming back, but we had an idea. Rutgers in New Jersey. When Rutgers football was making a run, Gandolfini, rest in peace, was obviously showing up to some games. The Many Saints of Newark is coming out. What do you think about doing a student section, Sopranos night? Maybe you coach in a bathrobe or a velour suit. You get the whole place involved, ponytails.
You know what? I like that idea.
All right.
I like that idea. So we're going to put that into play right now. Got a lot of great New Jersey people, too. Let's get Bruce Springsteen there, too.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, let's get this thing going.
So, Coach, before Rutgers, you've made a handful of stops. But before Rutgers, it was Stony Brook. Spent 10 seasons there out of the America East. And the America East, always a one-bid league. And for those unfamiliar with that, it's whoever wins the conference tournament's going to the big dance. So what's it like coaching your team? And I spent a couple of seasons on Vermont, so things get intense as you reach the finish line, knowing that in all likelihood, the season's coming down to one game.
I mean, it's very different for people that don't understand. Last year was one of the great flights when we flew out to Indianapolis. I already knew we were in the NCAA tournament.
Right. So
we had two ways. We were already in because we had a great season. And then the tournament, you could get in by winning the tournament. And then, there's two ways. And our league last year had 10 teams. So there were 10 teams out of 14 probably going to play in the NCAA tournament. Those one-bid leagues, it's one team. It's one weekend. It's foul trouble. It's a guy sick. The Tromboli kid at Vermont was sick one year, and they had a great team. He didn't play well, and, they lost. We had some really good teams. You play the wrong team, the wrong style, the referee blows the whistle, it's a black charge call, and you've had a great season, but then you had a tough weekend, and you don't go to the tournament. And there were a lot of really good teams that didn't play in the NCAA tournament that I think could have won some games. Those leagues are so different. Respect the coaches in those leagues, respect how hard it is. It's so much harder to go to the NCAA tournament from a one-bid league because you got to have a great season to give you the highest seed possible, to maybe get you a bye in some cases or whatever. But then you got to go now with all the pressure on you and have a great weekend. And some of those games are played at away venues, So it's really, really difficult to tell your guys, hey, you had a great year. And you didn't have a great weekend, so you're not going to be the NCAA tournament team. So it's really, you got to do both there. You got to have the great year, then you got to go have the great weekend. And it's very difficult to do.
This question's literally just for me. So I lived right next to Stony Brook. Did you go to Seaport Deli all the time?
Oh, my kids.
That's the only reason why you stay at Stony Brook for 10 seasons for Seaport Deli.
That's exactly. You got to get there early and have cash.
Yes, exactly.
You got to make sure my kids, whenever we go back now, or every now and then we'll go back. That's all they want to make sure we go and get their Ward Melville sandwich, all the different names of the sandwiches and then bring them back to them. That's all. They miss that greatly.
Now you're a blue blood Connecticut guy as well. So our boss, Dave Portnoy, he rates the pizzas. He called New Haven the pizza capital of the world. Let's get Coach Pikiell's rating. What's the best pizza in Connecticut?
I will tell you, I worked down at Yale for a few years. So, Pepe's, we couldn't get a recruit in there. We used to have to make reservations. We couldn't. I'm sure Tom Brennan could get some people in there back when he was at Yale. But I'm a Bristol guy. So I, grew up by ESPN there. And they have a pizza place in Bristol, Max's Pizza. They got a couple chains now. It's awesome. So in Connecticut, when I'm home and my brother still lives there, I want Max's all the time.
Okay.
But I'm a Pepe's guy down in, if I'm in New Haven, that's where I'm going.
All right.
Yeah, Coach. So we talked about Stony Brook, we talked about Rutgers, but you mentioned Connecticut too. What's the grind like of working your way up the coaching ladder? You've made the stops at GW, CCSU, New Haven, started at UConn. Now you're at a Big Ten school, and like you said, you were making the NCAA tournament last year. So just reflecting a little bit, what's it been like?
I tell you what, those jobs and those places, I wouldn't change any of them for a minute, but they were all grinds. They were all grinds. When I went to University of Connecticut, it was Coach Calhoun's first year. I think it was his only losing season at the University of Connecticut. And we always played the 8-9 game in the Big East tournament. There were only 9 teams in the league at that time. And people used to ask me a lot, was UConn in Alaska? I would get that asked, the question. No one asks that anymore because of Gino Auriemma and Jim Calhoun. Everyone knows where UConn is located. But back when I was there, it was the grind of that. And then I was lucky enough to be with Howie Dickerman at Central Connecticut. We grinded from worst to first. I went to George Washington University, and we grinded it there. And then I went to Stony Brook, and people thought at first we were a convalescent home in Long Island. Stony Brook, it sounds like a nice facility you send your grandma to. Yep. And that was the question I got asked earlier in my career at Stony Brook, and was able to grind it there, get some great people. It's a great university, Long Island, and that gave me the opportunity here to, coach at a great university here at Rutgers and the State University of New Jersey in a great state. So I learned a lot of lessons, all those places. I think I learned how to win different ways. You just can't recruit the best players at those kind of places. You have to figure out a way to win every year. And I coached with some great mentors. So I've been lucky. Dave Lato was at UConn when I was there. Carl Hobbs is on my staff now. I got to work for him at George Washington University. Hall of Fame coach, Jim Calhoun. And so I've been blessed along the road, but they've been jobs that take a lot of grinding, and I'm glad to, I consider myself an old school kind of guy, and we just grind and try to get better every day, recruit great kids that want to work and change the narrative of the programs that I've been able to work at. And we've been able to do that.
And then once you land at Rutgers, right, so it's building a program. I read in the interview, they hired you on the spot. You told us about your kids. The guy stepped out and made the phone call and hired you right on the spot in the deli. I read that. When you get there, what is the first step as far as, all right, I'm going to build Rutgers my way. I got to go get a great staff. I'm going to beat everybody out for recruiting. You hear about changing the way, like the attitude. What's the move at Rutgers of how you build it to obviously where you're at, a top 25 team?
You know what? I mean, it takes everybody too. Coaches will tell you one certain thing. I mean, you got to have the fan support. You got to have a great athletic director. We built a $125 million practice facility. Like, it had nothing to do with me. I was just a product of good timing here. And this facility has helped us a ton, but that's the athletic director. That's the state of New Jersey. That's the president of the university. You have to hire a great staff. And I've been fortunate. Carl Hobbs, coach of the year at George Washington University. Brandon Knight, one of the all-time great, Big East players at Pittsburgh, and had his number retired just recently at Pitt. Steve Hain, Shoes Vitrone. You got to hire a great staff, and you got to get them to believe in what you believe in. And I believed in this university, from this great university. My son's a sophomore here. Could have went to a lot of schools, and I'm so proud he picked, Rutgers, a great university in a great state, and now we play in the best league now in the country. So. You got to have a lot of things going in your favor. The students believed. They come to games. They like the style we play. That has helped us tremendously. We develop players. I'm an old school guy. Like I said, no hobbies. I don't golf. I don't, have all the things that, a lot of coaches have. I just come to work every day. I love watching film. I love my team. Spend some time with my family, and this is my family. So, Excited about this opportunity and excited that Pat Hobbs hired me, 4 years ago. And I really believe we could do some great things. We're not quite there yet, but we've done a lot of great things in the last 4 years, and I look forward to the next 4.
That's awesome.
I want to go back to Coach Calhoun, because Calhoun is like one of our favorite people. Like, there's this one, was a post-game presser.
Yes.
Would you please?
He gets mad at the reporter, not a dime back. And he keeps going, would you please? So, like, it's internet lore with that guy.
It's one of our favorite. Like, he's literally, like, the best to us. Do you have any other funny stories with him from working with him? Because he's obviously a huge mentor.
Well, I'm blessed because year one at UConn, I was part of his freshman class. He was one of his first recruits. Tate George and I were, the first 2 guys in his recruiting class. And, just blessed to have had that opportunity. Again, we were last place in the Big East. And that league had Rick Pitino and Rolly Massimino. You guys know who was John Thompson and Jim Boeheim. I mean, it was Louis Carnesecca. It was as good as the Big East has ever been. And when you're in last place, how hard it is to move up one slot, in a league like that. And by my last 2 years there, we were winning the Big East, so an amazing job, that coach has done, but he's relentless. I mean, on the referees, he's extremely smart. Like he really is. He built a program in the middle of, Storrs, Connecticut, which is really in the middle of no place. Amazing that he made it the basketball capital of the world for a while. And to have the pros and the people that he's developed, really, really amazing. And I'm blessed. I can call him like right now to talk about an out of bounds play, or talk about, dealing with the media, or talk about, his family. He's an unbelievable family guy too, like unbelievable. His wife and how he's with his kids, and, just, I can ask him about anything. And he's a big time golfer too. I never have to ask him any golf questions.
You should have seen Rico's face when he talked about, out of bounds play. This guy's a nut for
these guys,
X's and O's of basketball.
They ride me. You know those accounts like Hoops Vision and stuff like that with the hammer sets and the elevator sets? They'll get a text at like 2 a.m. and I'll be like erotic, and it's a hammer set to the corner. Like, they make fun of me. So, that stuff, I love it. I love that that's what you're obsessed with, and that's what you're going with.
If you had Coach Calhoun's number, you'd be like, call him every day.
Yeah.
You see that hammer set?
Yeah.
Hey, he would love, he would talk to you about the hammer sets and stuff too. So not just about winning a national championship, but blessed to have a guy like that. He's still coaching too. It's amazing to me. Still coaching, and he's still affecting the lives of a lot of young men, and it's just unbelievable. I think he's the best coach in college basketball. Everyone would argue that, but to do what he did from where he started to what UConn has become is really in large part to him.
Well, we don't want to knock you on that real quick, Coach, but we are Duke fans, and I know Leitner, everyone knows the shot. He knocked you out of your career. Do you secretly have one of those I Hate Christian Leitner t-shirts?
Yeah, he hit knocked it 2 times. My last 2 years, they beat us too. And, respect Duke's program, big time, everything. But, yeah, I'm not.
All right, he's number 2. I'll take that.
Man, Connecticut and Duke, a pretty good rivalry. We ended up getting them back, though, later on down the road.
All right, there you go.
So, Coach, let's dive into your team a little bit this year. You mentioned a few seniors that you guys lost, but you still bring back a healthy mix of veterans led by Geo Baker, Jacob Young, and Ron Harper. And you got some youth coming in as well, most notably Big Cliff Omori. So what's the vibe looking like, knock on wood, time of this recording, 48-ish hours away from season tip-off?
As a coach, I love all the things they've written about my team, and I love all the things they're saying about my team. I'm one of those coaches. I'm scared to death, and I hope our guys aren't reading the clippings, because we have a lot of work to do. But, I really like my team a ton. I finally have a veteran team. So I have guys back that have been through some wars. I think last year, all the different experiences really helped us being ranked for the first time. Hopefully those things will help us this year. Now I want to keep our ranking. We didn't keep it for very long last year. First time we've gotten it as a school in 40-something years. We didn't keep it long enough. And I've been talking to our team a lot about that now. People are looking at us a little bit differently, now. And hopefully we'll be ready for the challenges that they bring. But Geo Baker's back. Jacob Young is a senior, going to have a great senior year. Ron Harper keeps getting better and better. He's got a 7'4" wingspan, and he can shoot the ball and score at 3 different levels. Montez Mathis is back. I think he's an underrated, player on our team. He's really good at both ends of the floor. He's going to have a great, junior season. And we've added some pieces, too, to our freshman class. We have a kid, Paul Mulcahy, a sophomore. He's going to have a good year. Miles Johnson, a center, and Big Cliff now. We brought him in, some athleticism. We got some rim protectors for the first time. We have 2 of them, which I think is exciting for us. So I'm excited, but I'm scared to death, and that's how I want to coach. I always want to coach scared and keep these guys focused on the important things, which is us playing great defense and rebounding. So look forward to a great season, though.
I think you recruit just like how I would. These names are unbelievable. Every single name you just named was like, oh, that's a great name. I'll sign you right now.
That's an important part of it. I look at that. Geo Baker, it's just got a great ring, doesn't it?
Yeah, you
Cliff
can't.
Amore, it's got a great ring, some of these names. So I love Montez Mathis.
Again, yeah, it's easy to
They're
roll up
great
the
kids,
tongue.
too, and that's what I'm most proud of. Ron Harper Jr., they're great kids.
Coach, so we're looking at the list of scheduled games for Wednesday. There are 2 games to be determined. One of them is you guys versus Sacred Heart. You got any scoops for us that we can break? What time are you guys tipping off if everything goes well?
You know what? My scheduling guy comes in every day. They got like 6 more opportunities today. It's like this team shut it down. They're playing this team. I think we're going to be scheduling all the way through the year this year. But I'm hoping, like heck, the ball goes up on Wednesday with Sacred Heart University. I love the coach there, Anthony Latina. He's done a great job. Won 20 games last year. They're close, so they can come and get tested the day before too, and that's part of the scheduling now. In the Big Ten, you got to be tested 2 days prior to the game. So it's so hard to get, some teams that can come and play you until we get into the Big Ten play. But we're looking forward to playing them in front of nobody in our gym. But hopefully it'll be a most watched television game in New Jersey.
Any scoop on the time? It's still, how do you get ready? You can have a team breakfast. Like, can we break that news? We're a new podcast. What time are we looking at? 7 o'clock night game. What are we looking at?
Hey, there's some TV slots now that are open because some other games got canceled. So you'll have to ask me tomorrow.
All right, fair enough.
Because scheduling this year is very different. Very different than in the years past.
That's literally like he literally has no idea what time he's playing Wednesday. It's Monday at 12. Like that's how hard this season's going to be, I feel.
And I'm hoping these COVID tests come back. We got 2 days of COVID testing tomorrow and the next day, and hopefully they all come back, with great results, and then we'll be able to throw it up on Wednesday at some point in time. That's the game plan, anyways.
We'll be watching regardless.
Definitely, yeah. Have a great season, Coach.
Yeah. Well, actually, I want to ask you one more question. We always want to ask this always at the end. Game on the line, up 3, less than 10 seconds. Do you foul?
I don't really. I believe in our defense. We practice not, and I'm a defensive guy. I've seen a lot of games lost that way too. As much as they say stats, and really the stats don't prove that you should. But
that's my guy.
I think sometimes momentum guides different games too. But I believe in my defense. I believe we can get one stop, and if we can't, we don't deserve to win that game.
Coach, that's why you're my guy. I have a moron to my left who thinks that he should foul. You just play the defense. I've seen it so many times. The fouls screw people over.
I will tell you too. At the end of games, the refs never blow the whistle on those free throw misses. Like it's a full sumo wrestling match under the basket where the second line guy is just pushing your guy all over the place, and they never blow the whistle. So I've seen a lot of those things, but I think you get your philosophy you believe in, and it's always second guessed when it doesn't work out that way. But I've won a lot of games by not fouling and just having good defense down the stretch.
I'm sorry, one more question. So the last one, no matter what, I need to know. You grew up with 9 siblings?
I have 9. I'm lucky number 7.
7?
In the family, yes.
So you went to the bathroom. You never showered. Like you just went to school.
At 7:17 was my shower slot, and it was 6 minutes. 7:17. If you missed it, you were going to school not smelling too great.
The guy can't even take a shit.
Sounds like a March Madness tip time. 7:17. TBS.
7:17. Yeah. That's it.
There you go. All right.
I love that.
Forget it.
Thanks, Coach. I really appreciate you having you on. Good luck Wednesday, whatever time you play. And seriously, thank you for coming on.
I'm honored to be on, guys. Thanks so much. You guys have a great one. I look forward to seeing you again.
Yeah, we'll keep in
Thanks,
touch.
Coach.
Thank you.
Have a great season.